Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. 3 years and 3 years, Kaiduo has become my little brother. Yu, who traveled through the world of One Piece King, became an undercover agent for the Navy. Surprisingly, the undercover agent was the Beast Pirate Squad. Fortunately, the check.In system has been activated, and at the beginning of the game, the mythical animal species of the 5-clawed golden dragon form has been signed in. 9 years have passed, and his strength has been fully developed, but there is still little movement in the Navy. Yu couldn't bear it anymore and asked and the net would be closed in the Warring States period. The Warring States period asked him to wait a little longer. Yu waited for a moment and took advantage of the banquet to confront Kaiduo, saying, "Your position as the leader of the Beast Group has been sitting for too long. It's my turn." In the end, Yu won and moved the world. When the Warring States saw Yu, he looked a bit familiar and recognized him as an undercover agent, and was immediately overjoyed. As a result, Yu said calmly, "Marshal of the Warring States period, did you have a misunderstanding? Our Beast Regiment is all good people." Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. In the first chapter, 3 years and 3 more, I have become the 4th emperor. You are listening at novel full.audio. First level check.In location, successfully signed into Ghost Island in the Land of Harmony. Congratulations to the host, Armed Color, Seeing and Hearing Color, and Overlord Color for breaking through the upper level and reaching the mysterious stage. Devil Fruit, Animal Series, Mythical Species, and 5-claw Golden Dragon form have reached the upper level, Awakening. Accompanied by the sound of the system, Yu showed an excited smile. The Golden Dragon form is also approaching the stage of Mystery. After 9 years, it has finally gained enough strength. In the small pavilion of Ghost Island, Yu clenched his fist and felt the powerful force emerging from deep within his body, with anticipation flashing in his eyes. 9 years ago, Yu was still an ordinary modern young man. Who would have thought of traveling in a daze, or did he travel to his favorite One Piece dimension? When this kind of thing happened to himself, Yu was greatly shocked, but he had to be careful. Although the anime world is good, it is a world where the weak can die at any time. Fortunately, upon crossing over, Yu became a sea soldier and even awakened the check.In system. With the blessing of Golden Fingers, it's completely different. But just after crossing over, it still requires lewd development, and Yu is honestly training in the Navy. As a result, he was caught in the eye of the newly appointed Marshal of the Navy, Comrade Warring States. It is unclear whether Marshal Warring States had a liking for the temperament of Yu, a traveler, or what. He was assigned to join the Beast Pirates in the New World and became a glorious figure that only Warring States knew about undercover. I have a system, what am I afraid of? It's just an undercover and brutal group of beasts and pirates. So, under the command, Yu, who could not refuse, joined the Pirates of the Beasts and planned to continue his check.In career in the Pirates of the Beasts. Until 9 years later, after persistently signing in, Yu has the powerful strength to surpass Kaiduo. It's been 9 years, and I'm tired of the undercover beast pirates. Now I finally have the strength to change. What Yu possesses is the most prestigious 5-claw golden dragon ability. Being able to endure in this world has long been unbearable, and he doesn't want to continue being an unknown person. So, Yu, who had signed in for 9 years, took out a gray phone worm from behind his black cloak. This is the only contact phone worm that can contact the Navy as an undercover agent, and it is also single line. In the perception of seeing and hearing colors, there was no one next to his small room who could eavesdrop, so Yu directly dialed the other end of the phone worm. Meanwhile, Marinfando is located in the center of the world. Alone in the office during the Warring States period, with a serious expression on his face, he looked at the files on the desk and in the drawers. A phone worm called Brew Brew, which had not been ringing for 3 years, began to chirp. This is Yu. The Warring States period picked up the phone worm and immediately realized that it was an undercover agent's call to connect. Marshal of the Warring States period, don't come safely. There was no urgency or anxiety in Yu's voice, which surprised Marshal Warring States. Undercover agents who proactively contact us usually have urgent matters, and even more so, it is because they have been exposed. But on Yu's side, it seems not. Yu, are you okay? What's going on? I'm fine, Mr. Warring States. It's been 3 years and 3 years, and now it's been another 3 years and 9 years. When will your side close the net? If you don't take action, I'll be promoted to the position of Flying 6. Yu just spoke up and asked about the internet censorship. It's really not a joke, although he has been hiding himself. After all, he has been a minor for 9 years. Is it just this matter? The current situation is not yet time to close the network, Yu. Obviously, Marshal Warring States was also a bit distressed, and he felt a bit sorry for Yu, but after all, this was an undercover job, and there was no way he could do it after 3 years. 9 years, do you know how I spent these 9 years? At the beginning, it was agreed to be 3 years. Yu listened to Marshal Warring States' thoughts and was speechless. Well, in fact, he didn't have much hope himself. The Navy had not yet reached the point of taking action against the 100 Beasts pirates. It seems impossible for the Navy to voluntarily withdraw itself. So with a loud bang, Yu hung up the phone and left the sighing Warring States period across from him. Yu, you have to hold on to the Beast Pirates team until the meeting between Whitebeard and Red Hair is over. However, the rest of this sentence cannot be heard. Feeling his chin and looking out the window at the members of the Beast Pirates drinking, Yu immediately clapped his hands. Wait a minute. Find a time to have a showdown. We all have enough strength to defeat Kaiduo, why are we holding back? You should know that you are the most prestigious divine dragon. Be an unknown person. No. The strong wind rises, clouds fly, and dragons soar in the sky. Yu's eyes flickered with brilliance as he turned around and walked out of the small pavilion. Find an opportunity, then go find it. Coincidentally, today is a banquet between the Beast Pirates and the Black Charcoal Snake, celebrating another major single deal in the arms trade. At the event venue outside the castle, the burly and massive Kaido sat in the main seat, drinking heavily and occasionally wiping his eyes. It seemed that his emotions of joy and anger had begun to change again. Beside him, besides the Black Charcoal Snake, who was holding a beautiful woman and drinking happily, there was also a Yamato who was handcuffed and had an unwilling expression on his face. Jinda, some of them were flying 6 times, and during the epidemic, Quinn, Drought, Jack, and others were all present to enjoy the banquet. Quinn even rapped and shouted non-stop on the high platform of the castle. Appearing like a fanatical party. Under the greetings of the minions from the Beast Pirates, you arrived at the venue from the castle expressionless, surrounded by a series of pirates rushing in. All the members of the Beast Pirate squad were fanatically watching the people in the middle like Kaido, indulging in revelry. However, with changing emotions, Kaido, who cried at any moment, drank alcohol and wiped his eyes, and really started crying bitterly. Why are you just going to confront your father? Kaiduo is drunk, this big man is facing his own son, oh no, his daughter is crying bitterly. Yu watched this scene without any fluctuation in his heart, fully aware of Kaiduo's personality. This guy is a werewolf, crying and laughing whenever he talks. At this moment, another king from the big board flew in with his wings open and landed in front of Kaido, Black Charcoal Snake, and others. Big brother, you're late, fine for drinking. Jack greeted him with a glass and was given a white eye by Jean. Then Jean bowed slightly to Kaido. Your Excellency, we have received a message that there is a situation on the Whitebeard side. Jean was also accustomed to the capriciousness of Kaido and calmly reported it. On the Mobidic, a man named Blackbeard under Whitebeard killed the captain of the 2nd Squadron, Sachai, and defected to the Whitebeard pirates. Chapter 2. Showdown, no more installation, I want to take over. You are listening at novel full.audio. This is not a small matter, it happened to the fourth emperor. For the navy, and for the new world, it was a calm sea with waves rising on it, which could become huge waves at any time. Besides, it's still on the white-bearded ship. Killing a companion on a white-bearded ship is a true capital offense for anyone who knows the temperament of white-bearded people. Suddenly, all the people in the group of beasts and pirates around stopped, and everything was quiet. Blackbeard defected. Time is almost at the top of the war. Upon hearing this news, Yu immediately knew that the timeline was approaching a major turning point, and a new era would begin after the top war. And after the others also paused, they were more or less surprised. I'm a bit surprised. Some of the second members of the Beast Pirates don't even understand, defecting to Whitebeard. Is that guy having a brain pit? Yamato, who had his hands and feet bound, also widened her eyes. It was the first time she had heard the news of Whitebeard with her own ears. Because, after reading Oda's diary, she knew that Shiratori was Oda's sworn brother, the strongest man in the world. How brave! Alala alala, as expected, Kaido, who was still crying the previous second, immediately burst into laughter. What a delightful thing that happened to that old man. At the same time, Kaido even felt unusual about Blackbeard's actions. Even if a normal person doesn't want to continue at sea, they won't kill anyone. They are still companions, there must be something. There's something going on inside. But Kaido's happiness is real. This joy, why not wave the 8 fasts properly to vent it? Standing straight at a height of over 8 meters, Kaido was as burly as a small mountain, especially when waving his wolf fangs while drunk, sweeping the little ones around him. Lord Kaido. The surrounding beasts and pirates immediately retreated with a frightened expression on their faces. With a wave of tiger and tiger, the powerful wind alone overturned a large area of small minions. But at this moment, as an old member, Yu was still in a relatively advanced position, and the huge wolf tooth stick was thrown towards the front face. Yu is going to be affected. Originally, it would have been easy to dodge, but now Yueben is holding back and going to have a showdown. Undercover, what are you lying on? No one in this beast pirate squad can threaten you anymore. Let's just have a showdown. So, a palm reached out and stood in front of him, lifting it lightly as if it were heavy. With a bang, Yu caught Kaido's wolf tooth club waving in joy with one hand. Kaiduo's power is not a joke, it's just that with such a wave of power, when it comes into contact with Yu's palm, dust suddenly rises. Doing so can easily harm one's companions. A calm voice emanated from the dust. Kaiduo had a surprised expression on his face as he was blocked from fasting for 8 days. Who is so bold? Jean, Quinn. But they didn't move. Until the view became clear, Yu, dressed in an animal skin cloak and with black hair tied, was exposed to everyone. Not only Kaido was surprised, everyone was extremely surprised. It's not a real fight, nor is it a flying 6-cell game, nor is it a big 3 signboard, just a familiar face a pawn. Even Yamato showed a surprised expression, and Quinn and the others looked even more shocked. The other members had a ghostly expression on their faces, and even if Governor Kaido waved his wolf tooth stick casually, it was not something ordinary officials could do next. Besides, this guy is just an ordinary member. You took it with one hand. Kaiduo took back his wolf tooth stick and stared at Yu in surprise. He's Yu. He has been joining our Beast Pirates team for a long time. How come all of a sudden? Quinn has a good memory and knows about Yu, who is usually a low-key person. Isn't it true that the pirates of the 100 Beasts are always respected by the strong? Today, with everyone present, I will challenge you to the position of Governor of Kaido. From now on, I will be the captain of the pirates of the 100 Beasts, and Kaido will be my subordinate. Yu raised his head and stopped showing off, directly stating that he wanted to take over the beast pirates. Of course, doing so is also to avoid some trouble. If you directly confront the entire beast pirate regiment, with thousands of people and cadres, it would be annoying and the chances of winning would be slim. Suddenly, upon hearing Yu's words, everyone fell silent from shock, their expressions gradually becoming strange, even the black charcoal snake seemed to be choked. After just a few seconds, the whole room burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, I'm laughing to death. What are you? You want to challenge Governor Kaido? I don't know if I'm alive or dead, but I really thought that taking on the wolf-tooth stick that the Governor-General waved casually would defeat the Governor-General. You're really brave. I have a good outlook on you, but it's your next life. Remember to be cautious in your life next time and don't speak out loud. Everyone laughed at Yu's overestimation, constantly mocking him, and Yamato was even dumbfounded. How could this guy be braver than himself? This is the first time anyone has challenged Kaido besides myself. Kaiduo sneered and his eyes gradually became dangerous, staring at Yu with displeasure. You are truly courageous. If you can survive today, there will be a place for you in the Flying Six. But Kaido didn't directly attack Yu, instead he cherished his talent in his heart. No matter what, this guy could take on his wolf-tooth stick, and he was also single-handed. Most importantly, he didn't use armed color dominance, pure physical strength. Based on this, the newly appointed Flying Six is qualified. But for Kaido's words, Yu completely ignored them. Flying Six cells. What I want is to beat you up directly, transform from an unknown person to a famous powerhouse, and become the captain of the Pirates of the Beasts. However, Kakaduo's words narrowed the eyes of the people among the 6 flying cells. Sasaki, who has always looked down upon small subordinates, stood up. Your Excellency, such a guy cannot become a Flying Six. Sasaki's figure was slightly plump, with his jawline fangs exposed. Holding his mechanism spiral knife, he stepped forward with full pressure. Feilu Novel has taken action. Hurry up and beat up this ignorant kid. Quinn will still be shouting loudly on the castle stand with a microphone. Sasaki really wants to take action against Yu. Knowing that although this guy was brave, he would have some strength, Sasaki transformed into a human beast form in the form of a triangular dragon and charged towards Yu with a long sword. The spiral blade of the mechanism has a small horizontal blade that rotates rapidly, intending to kill the remaining blow. Sasaki. Looking at the triangular dragon humanoid form that is several times its own size alone, I covered my hand with a black-armed aura. He punched Sasaki, who was rushing towards him. Chapter 3. Sorry, Kado, I'm just better than you. You are listening at novel.Audio. Bang. Sound explosion. At this moment, Sasaki, who transformed into a human animal form and showed no mercy in his actions, changed his gaze. Pressure, this is pressure. With Yu's fist punched out, a powerful force surged towards him in his perception of seeing and hearing colors. With a clanging sound, Sasaki's mechanism spiral knife was directly thrown back and forth by Yu's fist, causing his palm to burst and blood to splatter everywhere. The entire massive body was directly attacked by a powerful force, with no effect even on the armed aura. Sasaki's blood spurted out of his mouth and he fell upside down on the walls of the castle, collapsing with a loud bang. Sasaki, one of the Flying Six, ranked among the top in terms of strength, surprisingly lost his combat power in the form of a human beast, and lay on the collapsed wall with white eyes. How could this be? A punch, just a punch, Jean, Jack, and Quinn's eyes changed instantly, full of surprise. The strength of the Flying Six is so exaggerated that even they can't do it with a single punch. This Yu really has strong strength. So strong. Yamato watched as Yu slowly withdrew his fist, feeling a shock in his heart. The black charcoal snake and other members of the beast pirate squad all changed their expressions and suddenly lost their intention to mock. But you didn't even look at Sasaki, who was flying backwards, and turned his head to look at Kaido, who was surprised. This punch is enough to let you know my qualifications. How about it, Governor Kaido? I'll fight you alone. If I lose, I'll give you my life. If I win, your position belongs to me. Yu raised his domineering finger and pointed to Kaiduo, calling out his surname as a 1.on.1 confrontation with you. At this moment, Yu's momentum surged unprecedentedly. The three disasters were angry at this time. Kid, don't be too arrogant. Jack disarmed and looked as if he was about to go up, but at this moment he was stopped by Kido's hand. So, give it a try. Kaiduo burst into a wild laugh, realizing that Yu's challenge had come next. He dragged his wolf-tooth stick and walked forward. The two stood 10 meters apart, and Yu couldn't help but smile. He rubbed his fists and then picked up the weapon he had brought. It's also a wolf-tooth stick. The people around were all nervous and retreated to make way for the field. Not to mention anything else, relying solely on Lord Kaido's intervention, one should retreat in order to avoid being affected. The burly and massive Kaido still had a drunken red face on his face, leaning on a wolf-toothed stick, gradually becoming somewhat ferocious. But Yu did not retreat at all, his eyes fixed on Kaido with a burning gaze. But strange fluctuations arise. A huge intimidating force surged out of Kaiduo's eyes, as if the space had been rendered purple. At this moment, the domineering color fiercely covered Yu. The domineering color has been shining for 9 years now. Without fear, Yu also displayed a domineering aura and fiercely confronted the oppressive force covered by Kaiduo. Clubs of powerful collision fragments enveloped the entire venue as a raging hurricane erupted. Stubbornly, one by one, the members of the Beast Pirate Squad couldn't bear the dominance of the two and collapsed on the ground, or fainted directly. Under this level of collision, tables and chairs, decorations, door panels and windows cannot withstand any impact and are all torn apart. Hegemonic and domineering. How could he? Jean, Jack, Quinn, and others, including Feilu, Yamato, and others, were all taken aback. But upon closer examination, it seems normal to have a domineering aura when daring to challenge Kaido. However, to their surprise, the golden domineering aura released by Yu was able to compete with Kaido without falling behind. What a powerful aura! The strength of this domineering aura is not inferior to that of Governor Kaido. Isn't he on Ghost Island for many years? Why hasn't he shown his strength at all? Everyone was shocked and opened their mouths wide, extremely surprised. However, the domineering confrontation did not last long, and both knew it was just a mutual probing. Kid, you're very domineering. Kaido's expression changed from calm at the beginning to serious. The drunkenness seemed to dissipate under the domineering competition, and the wolf-tooth stick in hand slowly lifted up. A faint purple light shone from the wolf-tooth stick. A little stronger than you. Yu proudly spoke up and responded, saying that Jin Long's pressure was only slightly stronger than Qin Long's, and he was still not very satisfied. That's right, in the match just now, although it seemed to be evenly matched, in fact, Yu's domineering color was even stronger than Kaiduo. Unfortunately, he didn't have much advantage, but it didn't matter anymore. Like Kaiduo, Yu lifted the wolf-tooth stick in his hand. Seeing the true chapter in one's hand is the true skill. Kaiduo gritted his teeth, his face fierce, and then took a big step forward fiercely. The ground of the venue collapsed and sank extensively under the foot of Kaiduo. Thundering. Gossip. The 8 fasts in his hand were even more intense, and he swung his right hand towards Yu's head. The power of this skilled move is terrifying. Gossip. Thunder. Yu's action was to start from the back and take a big step forward, swinging the same wolf-tooth club over. Kaiduo is the 8 trigrams of thunder, and Yu is the 8 trigrams of thunder. What's different is that under the golden and domineering lightning, the wolf-tooth club in summer has a more powerful aura. Under the overwhelming aura, the two collided with each other in a thunderous manner. Zizizi, the power of purple electricity and gold electricity exploded, and the powerful impact generated by the collision spread out in all directions under their feet, instantly shattering the surrounding ground. This scene directly shows everyone the same move. However, the next moment, something even more shocking happened. In less than 2 seconds after the collision, Kaido's 8 fasts were unexpectedly pushed back by Yu's wolf-tooth stick. Bang, bang, bang! Kaiduo took 3 full steps back before forcibly stabilizing his figure, and looked at Yu in shock. Your power. The showdown of this move showed Kaido that Yu's power was even stronger than his own. Unbelievable, Kaido knew that he had a natural talent for physical strength, coupled with the fruit ability of the Qinglong form, and was actually repelled in the same move. Looking at the shock of everyone, Kaido, Yu gave a faint smile. Sorry, my strength is also a bit stronger than yours. Chapter 4. Heat breathing. Taste my true flame of Samadhi. You are listening at novel.Audio. Where did he come from as a monster? The black charcoal snake blocked the oncoming hurricane and retreated in shock. This situation doesn't seem right at first glance. There is actually a monster hidden within the 100 Beasts pirate squad that can defeat Kaido in the thundering gossip. Lord Kaido. The members of the Beast pirate squad were even more incredulous as they looked at Kaido, who had lowered his head after retreating. The invincible Lord Kaido has been repelled by this little servant. Everyone in the Flying 6 cells looked at each other in disbelief, full of shock. Even Quinn, Jack, and Jean are like this. What kind of person is Kaido? In recent years, it has been regarded as the 4th emperor of the strongest creatures in the sea, land, and air. This is the existence of the strongest man on par. In the eyes of everyone in the Beast Pirates, Kaido is a top-notch figure, a small servant. Why can he do it? Who the hell are you? At this moment, Kaiduo finally realized something was wrong. Anger overflowed in his eyes, but he still patiently questioned. This stick is not simple, and such a character has been quietly hiding in his pirate group for so long. What must be the purpose behind it? What is your identity? With such strength, why have you been with me for so long without being promoted? Kaiduo couldn't understand this situation and it was very puzzling. I said, beat you down and become the master of the 100 Beasts pirates. Yu lifted the wolf-tooth stick in his hand and said arrogantly. Are you joking? Are you claiming to be an undercover agent in the Navy? I used to endure thinking that I couldn't even beat you, Kaido. No, now I am a challenger challenging the position of governor. But as soon as he said this, Kaido couldn't bear it anymore. His anger surged and his entire aura exploded. The powerful energy swept through, and everyone in the Beast Pirate squad retreated in even greater fear. Kaiduo, you're in a rage. Blue light shone from his body, causing drastic changes in his head and body. Features such as dragon horns appeared first, and within a short period of time, the entire humanoid body transformed into a huge dragon body. Fish fruit, in the form of a green dragon. Kid, can you still be so arrogant now? In the sound of the dragon's roar, Kaido let out a roar, and the sound waves even shook the people below, causing their eardrums to buzz. Kaiduo, who knew this, was still just coiled up, and after a roar, he directly pulled himself up. With a loud bang, it shattered the dome of the huge skeleton of Ghost Island and went outside. This is Lord Kaido's ability. Qinglong. This is too powerful and domineering. The members of the Beast Pirate squad were amazed and sighed, and no matter how many times they watched, they would be shocked by this legendary creature. However, as Kaido transformed into a dragon, he stretched his body from above the Ghost Island and looked down, releasing his dragon power. Yui smiled and grinned heartily. Qinglong, you're just Qinglong, you're not qualified to look down on me. Arrogant words spread all around, and under the gaze of everyone, a dazzling golden light burst out from Yui's body. He was as dazzling as the sun, making it difficult for anyone to see his figure clearly. As the golden light erupted and gradually softened, 3 disasters, Flying 6 Cells, Big Snake, and Yamato all looked at Yui's position in shock, their chin almost falling to the ground. I saw a golden dragon flying upwards from the light. The golden scales shimmered with an incredibly noble aura, whether it was the 9 shapes of the dragon head or the 4 claws and 5 fingers of its limbs, which shook everyone's hearts and minds. He. Damn it. No, I saw a miracle. Yui, surprisingly, he is also a dragon. He is also a dragon-shaped demon fruit expert. Moreover, in terms of body shape, aura, and appearance, it is even more powerful than Kaido's Qinglong form. Myth in mythology, 5-clawed golden dragon. It's a divine dragon. For the first time in front of everyone, Yui transformed into a golden dragon form and couldn't help but let out a comfortable dragon cry. Suddenly, a strong sense of oppression permeated all the animal fruit cultivators, making them all unable to resist the urge to kneel and worship. It seems that this is the inheritance and suppression of life's bloodline. No matter how ancient the species are, the great snake and Yamato's mythical beasts are all like this. It's too scary. The black charcoal snake even wanted to run away, trembling all over. What fruit ability are you? A golden dragon. Kaido had never seen or even heard of the existence of such fruits, and couldn't help but ask with shock and solemnity. How terrifying the power of dragons is, Kaido had long understood it. And everyone, including Kaido, can see clearly that the 5-clawed golden dragon transformed by Yui is significantly larger in size than the blue dragon transformed by Kaido, and is incredibly prestigious. Did you feel the difference between dragons? You're just a green dragon, and I'm the king of dragons, the supreme divine dragon. Yui was extremely excited in this form that seemed to see everything in the world as if he were a subordinate. Good guy, it's much more satisfying than secretly transforming oneself and suppressing the explosive power. No wonder Kaido is so arrogant, transforming into a dragon body. It's really comfortable. The golden dragon power in the sky is like a towering mountain, which makes all people who are shocked beyond measure feel the pressure of the 5-claw golden dragon. In the vertical eyes of Kaido's cross, there was a hint of shame and anger. Yui completely disregards him. The supreme among dragons. The king among dragons. Then let's see what makes you so arrogant. Kaiduo was furious. Although Yui didn't do much, the only thing he showed already made Kaiduo go berserk. Yui is like a sudden and powerful enemy that appears everywhere. Heat breath. Without further hesitation, the scorching glow condensed in Qinglong's mouth, followed by a continuous burst of flames. Bringing up the temperature and breaking through the atmosphere, the heat breath spun and rushed towards Yui's golden dragon head. Golden dragon breath. An inexplicable expression flashed through Yui's longan. Vomiting. It's just a dragon's instinct. A golden light from Qinglong's mouth, even hotter than Qinglong's breath, converged into a brilliant ball, and then spewed out with his mouth wide open. The air was visibly rippling with white waves, and the golden breath was almost the same as the heat breath, but even more dazzling with golden light. In this way, the breath of the two sides collided, forming a circular energy circle in the middle due to intense impact. Everyone below looked up in shock, involuntarily swallowing their throats. However, in the next second, the gold becomes even brighter. Instantly broke through the middle arc energy circle, causing a huge explosion. And the golden dragon breath of Yui directly broke through Kaiduo's heat breath and sprayed onto Kaiduo's green dragon body. Chapter 5. Kaiduo boss surprisingly caught down. You are listening at novel full.audio. The dome of Ghost Island collapsed even larger due to a violent explosion. The group of beasts and pirates below looked up and saw the golden dragon and green dragon above more clearly. This move of breathing out completely defeated Governor Kaiduo. Qinglong's hot breath was actually directly defeated by Jinlong's breathing out, and the dazzling golden flame column fiercely impacted Qinglong's body. This made Kaido couldn't help but let out a mournful voice. Pain. The golden flame has the special characteristic of breaking through Kaido's defense, which truly makes Kaido feel the scorching heat. Although it was not punctured on the dragon's forelimb, it left scorched black scars. Governor Kaido's heat has lost. In the midst of the three disasters, Quin's eyes were about to burst out, and his cigar fell to the ground, completely unaware. This scene is unbelievable for those who have been following Kaido's beast pirates for years. What kind of flame are you? The body of Qinglong was rolling, and the vertical pupils of Kaido's cross were filled with a look of surprise. I, who has always struggled to commit suicide, was actually burned by the breath of Yu. How can Qinglong's mortal fire be compared to my Samadhi true fire? The golden dragon transformed into Yu burst out laughing, which was also the breath of the dragon. In addition to developing its own abilities, the flame of the dragon's breath was the key to victory. This is also the same breath exhalation, the reason why the heat breath was quickly defeated by the golden dragon breath. Everyone below couldn't help but be shocked. Is the flame of Qinglong just a mortal fire? Is this golden dragon too domineering? Mythical species, this golden dragon is really a divine dragon. At this point, whether it's the three disasters or the flying 6 battles, I still don't think Yu can defeat Kaido. After all, this king of beasts is a peerless powerhouse who has been famous for a long time. Fan Hua. Kaiduo snorted coldly, really unable to bear Yu's arrogant tone. There's no way, the 5-claw golden dragon incarnation, it's not even crazy. The next moment, Kaido's incarnation of Qinglong's mouth grew and almost became the kind of 180 degrees Celsius. With this action, the surrounding airflow quickly surged, and the thick black clouds above the ghost island immediately flashed and thundered, emitting purple light in bursts. And this stream of air condensed into Kaido's mouth until just a few seconds later, after the critical point. Bad wind. The surging wind fiercely rushed towards Yu, with sickle-like blades in it, even larger and densely packed than a normal person, rolling towards Qinglong Yu. Calling for wind and calling for rain, these are all abilities of dragons. If you use the wind, then I'll use a more advanced one. Yu. Qinglong Yu's eyes lit up with a dazzling light. The dark clouds in the sky instantly became even more thunderous. Spread like a spider web. Then, drops of rainwater fell from the sky, turning into water blades and falling down. The seemingly floating water blade falls freely, but its power is incredibly terrifying. Almost as Kaido's bad wind was about to attack Yu, the water blade had already reached the dense wind blade. Suddenly, the sky was filled with a clanging sound of destruction. The collision between the water blade and the wind blade resulted in an explosive effect. Kaiduo's bad wind was directly stopped, and the remaining 10,000 raindrops covered a wider area, not only where the two fought, but also the entire ghost island was covered. Suddenly, dust rose up from above the dome, and at the hole, a dense raindrop-like blade of water could be seen falling in. After taking a bite of the bad wind, Kaiduo had no time to avoid the rain anymore, which was also related to his confidence. However, when the water blade approached, the body of the green dragon could not withstand attacks from its own kind. A series of white marks appeared on Kaido's green dragon body. Although a single one did not inflict enough damage, when 10, 100, or 1,000 fell, Kaido's scales were still shattered, constantly surging and howling. Yu's move, Yu, unexpectedly injured Kaiduo again. And below, descending along the broken dome, the water blade mercilessly destroyed all the buildings in the venue and castle, with a constant roar. Many small minions were directly hit and screamed incessantly. What's even more shocking and terrifying is that in addition to evading the three disasters, many people in the Flying Six, including Fuzzy Fu, were also hit. Although the weapon was lifted to avoid the crisis of breaking from scratch, the seemingly light and floating water blade has a powerful impact that these fierce generals cannot bear at all. This guy. He definitely has the strength of the Fourth Emperor. Peggy hurriedly hid in the castle, shouting in terror. The ability to suppress Kaido's head is definitely at the level of the Fourth Emperor. Just the aftermath of the impact has left them unable to withstand it. The other members of the Beast Pirates who hid inside expressed agreement in shock. Lord Kaido, we have encountered an opponent. But why? A person with such strong strength would lurk in the group of beasts and pirates, staying unnamed for so long. Not to mention these ordinary members, even Jean, Quinn, and Jack couldn't figure it out and looked up at the battle with some concern in their hearts. Under the attack of Yu, Kaiduo finally fought back with all his might. Tornado Bad Wind. The power of Qinglong erupted once again, and 4 huge tornadoes formed behind Kaido and swept towards Jinlong-Yui. Under the powerful force, the top of the Ghost Island skull is constantly being destroyed, and the wind blade is raging. But how could you persuade Kaido with these means? You will, and I will too. Tornado, rain. Isn't it just adding pressure and airflow to the tornado giant to increase its power? Similarly, 4 huge tornadoes tore apart the surrounding atmosphere and formed fiercely, merging with the water blades falling from the sky. Under the eye of the high-speed wind, Kaiduo's bad wind also returned, and the remaining Yu's power immediately increased. The top of Ghost Island was completely bald, with shattered stones soaring into the sky with the tornado. The power of the two was completely exposed in the sight of everyone on Ghost Island. Natural disaster. Natural disaster. Phosphor was trembling as he spoke, not because he had never seen a tornado from Kaido, but when Yui's tornado also appeared, 8 towering and massive tornadoes descended. The whole Ghost Island seems to have fallen into the end of the world. 8 huge wind eyes are tearing at each other, carrying powerful wind blades and water blades. The destructive power on Ghost Island is absolutely terrifying. The skull with 2 large ghost horns turned into a bare patch, and the surrounding buildings, including those within the skull, were constantly being destroyed by the wind. The members of the Beast Pirates continued to run for their lives along the path. In the battle of the 8 major tornadoes, it was ultimately Kado's tornado that began to weaken and consume more. Although the remaining tornado was also consuming, it was clearly much more than Kado's. King of Beasts, Kaiduo, has once again fallen into a disadvantage. Chapter 6. True Dragon. Fragmented Heaven and Earth versus Descending to the Third World. You are listening at novel.Audio. The wind gradually calmed down. The fierce competition between Qinglong and Jinlong ultimately ended with Yui getting even better. Yui's golden pupils stared at Kaiduo Qinglong, who was adjusting his figure across from him, with a cold and indifferent expression. Dealing with Kaiduo, it's true that his power is still not enough. Whether it's the golden dragon breath or the 10,000 rain, it's only minor injuries that fall on him, and the recovery power of the phantom beast is completely insignificant. Of course, Yui, who was secretly thinking, did not believe that this would defeat Kaido. This guy is a monster that can go to the headquarters of the Navy to die but cannot die. It's just a coincidence that he has the ability to be in the form of a dragon. But Yui also doesn't think he can't beat Kaiduo. Are you joking? The golden dragon fruit is a mythological species, the superior of the green dragon, and from a domineering perspective, it has also risen to a higher level. The only difference between it and Kaido is the strength of its body itself. Kaido did not become the strongest creature because of the Qinglong fruit, but because his body was already incredibly strong, and with the addition of Qinglong fruit, he had the strongest creature's body. Unfortunately, encountering oneself traveling through time and enduring for 9 years, Kaiduo's title was destined to give way. At this moment, Kaido's dragon head stared at Yu tightly, and a strong anger seemed to be gushing out of his eyes. Hold back. When did Kaiduo hold back to such a point that his own moves were defeated by all the other moves? Squeaking, the purple thunder spread from Kaido's body, and the entire dragon body began to undergo drastic changes. King of Beasts, Kaiduo, to activate the strongest form, Dragon Man. Blue scales cover the arms and shoulders, with a head long with 2 horns, holding the 8 sacred precepts, and a dragon tail sweeping behind. Kaiduo's fierce face was also clearly visible, without much difference, except that the cross-shaped green pupils were still preserved, and his entire aura was surging and rolling, like the Demon King descending to the world. Do you want to play Dragon Man? The remaining one tumbled, and the golden dragon's body shone brightly. Like Kaiduo, it contracted its body and then transformed into a half-dragon form, holding a wolf-tooth stick and standing in mid-air. The golden light shines brightly. Golden scales covered Yu's back, shoulders, arms, and dragon tail swaying casually behind him. The golden dragon horns and mysterious patterns spread from the scales in front of Yu. Everyone on the ghost island below was stunned. Golden dragon and green dragon. Yu is completely like Kaiduo Duo, and Jin Long is clearly more prestigious and fierce. Under the momentum of making those with animal fruit abilities have a worship impulse, a person's psychology undergoes subtle changes. As Yu's momentum grew stronger, Kaiduo was completely angry, the first time in decades that he was so angry. Because Yu is here to snatch everything he has. With the blessing of alcohol, the domineering and armed colors emerged on Kaido's body. The pale red cherry blossoms began to fill the 8 fasts, and with the invisible dominance of the color, a purple light suddenly appeared. Jiulong Bagua. With a loud bang, the powerful sprint made the air explode. Accompanied by Kaido's roar, the wolf-tooth stick of Bazhai fasting emitted purple lightning and fell from top to bottom towards Yu. This blow, come on. Soon. But Yu is faster. The dual-color domineering aura was almost already bestowed on the wolf-tooth stick when Kaiduo was gaining momentum, almost instantly completed from lifting to waving it out. The golden lightning burst and collided with the 8 fasts across the air. This is an attack effect that only results from the powerful and domineering aura of the superior. In the middle of the 2 wolf-toothed sticks, the fierce collision and the impact of force formed a golden-purple competition of domineering arcs, with terrifying pressure and explosive lightning surging in all directions. Boom! The whole ghost island trembled suddenly. Many buildings in the castle collapsed directly. The 3 disasters, Flying 6 Cells, Black Charcoal Snake, and Yamato are all burying their heads and working hard to avoid the aftermath. And others were constantly screaming, and many people were directly affected. This is even more terrifying than the tornado just now, even the air is filled with the intimidating power of the 2 dragons. However, Kaiduo's diligent wine dragon gossip still did not defeat Yu's gossip dragon Ming. Bang! Gold and purple fragments of bright spots filled the sky, and Kaido fell like a shell on Ghost Island, emitting a large amount of dust. He was repelled again. I said it's a little stronger than you. Yu grinned and shook the wolf-tooth stick in his hand. I really thought I haven't done anything here for 9 years and just signed in. I've been studying the moves against Kaido in secret for a long time. I can do what you do, and I can even do what you don't know. Watching Kaido being smashed away, both Quinn and Jack couldn't help but sweat profusely, staring blankly at the golden dragon man in the sky, completely speechless. However, without waiting for others to sigh, Kaiduo, who smashed a big hole, roared angrily and jumped up again with a loud bang. Impossible! How could there be people like you in this world? Kaiduo's eyes were full of disbelief. Now he is not the same Kaiduo as before. Now he is the 4th emperor with complete strength to compete with Roger, Whitebeard, Oda and other people. How could I be repeatedly defeated by this unknown kid? And the golden dragon form, mythological species. I haven't even heard of it, okay. But the naked fact made Kaido extremely embarrassed and angry. Hee. Yui didn't talk nonsense to Kaiduo. This guy has been trying his best to endure and become stronger since before the era of the great pirates, and after being attacked by Oda, he has been developing even more vigorously. I finally became the fourth emperor, known as the strongest creature. Now that I am challenged by myself and still fall behind, I am definitely not willing to accept it. And the gossiping dragon roar just now didn't actually cause any serious damage to Kaido. Descend to the third generation. Induce Nara. The purple lightning intensified, and after pouring more domineering energy, it completely turned into black lightning. Densely intertwined with Kaido's 8 fasts, and constantly spinning on Kaido's hands to increase his power. This is one of Kaido's strongest moves, which was unleashed while sprinting towards Yui. True Dragon. The world is shattered. You have descended into 3 lifetimes, and I also have true dragon skills. Yui is not afraid, the wolf tooth stick in his hand is completely wrapped in gold. As Kaiduo dragged a black thunder towards him, under the golden light, Yui struggled to wave more towards Kai. Thoroughly unleashed this move of shattering the real dragon world to the extreme. In an instant, the air in front of the wolf tooth stick was compressed by the surging force of Yui, creating an air cannon-like effect. Before the attack could reach, Kaido had already felt the approaching air pressure, as if it was about to explode. In the next moment, the third generation will collide with the shattered world. Chapter 7, Get Lost. I want to defeat him with my own hands. You are listening at novel.Audio. Heaven and earth are shattered, although not to the extent that they are truly shattered. But in the entire Ghost Island affected, countless things were being destroyed. Along with one eye of the Ghost Island, a large area was completely shattered under the impact of the golden power. The use of Kaiduo, who has descended to the third world, has made him feel the terrifying power of Yui without reservation. Descending to the third generation, it has been broken open. The black and domineering lightning was directly torn apart, shattering into dots of light. This stick didn't shake off Kaido's 8 fasts, but it hit Kaido's chest along with the 8 fasts. Subsequently, following the path of his arrival, Kaido was once again knocked away and couldn't help but spit out a large mouthful of blood. Boom! The big pit is bigger, and dust is rising everywhere. Lord Kaido. Jean flapped his wings, full of shock, wanting to rush over. But Yui's fierce gaze turned towards him, causing Quinn and Jie to hold on to Jean. This is a 1.1 challenge. The members of the Beast Pirates, including the Flying Six, were extremely shocked. Ghost Island. Ghost Island. Some people even foolishly pointed at the empty dome and stuttered, saying unfavorable things. After the aftermath, Ghost Island was completely chaotic, and most of the huge castles collapsed. And such a powerful move, causing such great destructive power, naturally consumes a considerable amount. At this moment, Yui couldn't help but gasp for breath, looking at the large pit of dust that had not yet fallen. That's also why Yui didn't choose to directly kill the Ghost Island and choose to challenge General Kaiduo. Physical strength is a big problem. 3 disasters fly 6 times, and if other people join forces with Kaiduo, it will always be troublesome. My own strength is only able to defeat Kaiduo now, and it is not that I am invincible in the world. And under the terrifying resilience of Kaido, it is not easy to completely make him lose his combat power. As expected, it fell into the big pit behind the Ghost Island, and Kaiduo of the blue-scaled dragon man, holding the 8 fasts, cleared the dust and walked out again. There is still blood hanging at the corner of the mouth, and the tiger's mouth on the arm is cracked due to blocking the fragmentation of the real dragon's heaven and earth. Blood flows, and the whole person's breath is also slightly weakened, but clearly still has strong combat power. Damn it! Kaiduo's hair was all tangled up in a mess, feeling extremely frightened and no longer in the same shy, angry, and violent state as before. Yu, who was able to injure himself with a single blow, was much more powerful than when he was beheaded by Oda, to the extent that now Kaido has fallen behind. While there is still a pattern of getting angry after drinking, Kaiduo wrapped his domineering aura around the 8 fasts with all his might. The top of the wolf tooth stick suddenly swelled up, like a blown balloon, with black lightning constantly circulating on it. At the same time, Kaido, who fully utilized his domineering color and aura, once again crazily boosted his momentum. This made the ground behind Ghost Island, which had already collapsed, constantly tremble and the rubble floats. Amidst the rolling dark clouds, the people around the venue castle couldn't help but tremble all over. This is a hellish aura. And so far in the battle, although there has been consumption, it cannot be denied that Yui's desire to fight has also increased. Especially now that Kaiduo is bursting with momentum, he will need to use stronger moves. True Dragon. Roaming fiercely against the sky. Yu held a wolf tooth stick in both hands and raised it high, both entwined with the colors of king and armed. The golden lightning was densely distributed on the wolf tooth stick, without expanding the weapons like Kaiduo, but the golden light formed a circular halo at the top. The noble, majestic, and fierce aura of the 5-clawed golden dragon was completely and unreservedly displayed in front of all the members of the Beast Pirate Squad, standing apart from the momentum of Kaido. Both are brewing for the next round of attack. At the next moment, Yu took the initiative to leave. My body instantly disappeared in place and headed towards the rapidly moving Kaido below. The wolf tooth stick, shining with a huge halo, was like a sun crashing down. Duly, Long Xingjun. Kaiduo fearlessly waved towards the suppressed Yu. With a loud bang, the impact circle rippled open, carrying a terrifying and domineering aura that swept through. The earth suddenly cracked, with deep grooves and crevices densely distributed, and the surrounding seawater surged up. The moves of the two are clearly not just a one-shot finish, but constantly waving. Over and over again, the golden halo bombarded the front end of Yu's wolf tooth stick against Kaiduo's swollen wolf tooth stick. The power of this terror continues to strengthen, and the damage to the surrounding area continues to increase. Ghost Island, completely destroyed in half, is constantly crumbling. Too scary. The shackled Yamato's heart was trembling with shock. It can be said that she saw for the first time how terrifying Kaido, who was fighting with all his might. It's not an exaggeration to say that destroying the entire Ghost Island is not worth mentioning. What is even more shocking is that this unknown soldier, who has been hiding in the Beast Pirates for 9 years, can fight Kaido to this extent. Hurry up. Run away. It's best to escape from Ghost Island. After experiencing continuous destruction at the level of natural disasters, the members of the Beast Pirates are not only shocked, but also deeply frightened. Too powerful, the destruction behind Ghost Island continues to spread, and now even the shaking station is about to become unstable. If we stay any longer, it's possible that the entire Ghost Island will be destroyed by the battle between Governor Kaido and Jinlong Yui. No, we can't just let this unknown soldier go on like this. Watching Kaiduo gradually decline in the confrontation with Yu, Jin couldn't help but see the flames on his body skyrocket. We need to go up and help Kaiduo fight against Yu. Quinn and Jack don't have time to think about it either. What if Lord Kaido really loses? Do you really want to give up your seat to this Yu? This kind of thing is difficult to accept for the 3 disasters, and the best way is to take the remaining one with Governor Kaido now. As for the 1.1 or something. Is it still important? But at this moment, Yu and Kaiduo both breathed a sigh of relief against Xiong, but their fighting spirit remained high. However, Kaiduo, who was gradually declining, was full of unwillingness. Until then, the 3 disasters actually rushed over. Lord Kaido. Let's deal with him together. Jack roared and transformed into a humanoid form, charging forward with a weapon in hand. Get out. You're not allowed to interfere. I want to defeat him with integrity. Kaiduo was startled and distanced himself from Yu. Yu also squinted his eyes and did not choose to continue the bombardment, and Kaiduo's straightforward words couldn't help but surprise Yu. It seems that Kaido still has a strong heart. Chapter 8. Kaiduo's defeat. Do all beasts really want to change their hosts? You are listening at novel full.audio. Kaido looked at Jean, Jack, and Quinn who wanted to come and help, and couldn't help but roar in anger. What he remembered in his heart was the day he fought against Oda. That time, it was his shame to have been destroyed by a mouse using a sinister move while fighting against such a man. And this time, Kaido is determined not to repeat the same mistakes and leave regrets. I don't want to go through the battle with Oda again. Kaiduo watched Yu seriously, although he didn't know who he was or what his purpose was. But without a doubt, this is a top-notch powerhouse. Ability development should not be weak with oneself, dominance should not be weak with oneself, and even strength and moves should be strong. No one can immediately suppress anyone. The battle between the two at this moment is about patience. Jean, Quinn, and Jack all had a look of surprise on their faces, and then they silently stopped looking at each other. Kaido grinned grimly, holding up his swollen wolf tooth club and charging again. It seems that you are not so cunning either. Yu grinned and bravely confronted him. The golden halo of wolf fangs and the swollen 8 fasting once again collided. In fact, it is impossible for Yu to completely crush the battle. He has already reached the limit by throwing a stick and spitting blood. To completely crush, he still needs to continue to sign in and receive system rewards. Now facing Kaiduo, he cannot win either. The power of the 5-claw golden dragon is beyond imagination. The roaring sound kept going, the clouds in the sky cracked, and the ocean roared incessantly. Ghost Island has been trembling in the battle between Kaido and Yu, and it would be great if half of the entire skull could be left, not to mention the buildings that continue to collapse due to the aftermath of the battle. At the collision between the two, debris flew wildly, and powerful lightning exploded, causing a series of powerful shockwaves to collide and spread in a circular pattern. Time and time again, amidst the dust, in the end, the rhythm of the roar began to slow down. The power gradually diminished until it briefly fell into silence. Gollum, the members of the Beast Pirate Squad, including Flying Six, who were still watching the battle, swallowed their throats after a brief silence. This century-long war, is it over? I can't see clearly. After being mixed with a strong combat aura, I couldn't even perceive the aura inside clearly, Governor Kaido. Quinn, Jean, and Jack clenched their fists tightly, staring intently into the dust. Yamato's breathing couldn't help but quicken a bit, and his pupils were trembling. The black charcoal snake had a fearful expression on its face, and its legs were trembling. Finally, dust has dissipated. Kaido's massive body of the blue-scaled dragon completely collapsed to the ground, and the 8 fasts had already been restored to its original state not far away. He didn't faint, but rather closed his eyes, unwilling to accept his fate. Yu 5-claw golden dragon. Kaido no longer had the strength to stand up, so he lay motionless in the pit. Hegemony, the stamina is rapidly depleted with every hit being full force, until it is completely exhausted at this point. To everyone's shock, Yu's golden dragon-like body stood steadily in front of Kaido, and his wolf tooth stick had also been restored to its original state. I took a few deep breaths and burst into laughter as I looked at Kaido, who was lying on the ground and unable to get up. Laugh heartily. After 9 years of forbearance, this great battle has truly been incredibly enjoyable, as if a sigh of frustration has been released in my heart, and Yu's whole life has become relaxed. I won, Kaido. Yu really won. Everyone present was completely shocked, staring blankly at Yu, who remained in the form of the Golden Dragon Man. Governor Kaido. How could it be? The invincible Lord Kaido in his mind is the strongest creature in the sea, land, and air, and even the headquarters of the Navy cannot be killed. Now surprisingly, he has been beaten down by this golden dragon, motionless. The three disaster ashes, Quinn, and Jack all looked incredulous, shocked at Kaido and Yui in the big pit. Flying 6 times, the black charcoal snake even dropped its chin on the ground. Before seeing Kaido fall to the ground, even if Kaido fell to the disadvantage and was beaten and vomited blood, no one thought Kaido would lose. Injury is normal. But now, the beast Kaiduo really fell to the ground motionless, his breath weakened, and everyone suddenly woke up. Lord Kaido, we lost. Yui stopped laughing heartily, and now his state is still panting, and his physical strength has actually been exhausted. Seeing the 3 disasters, black charcoal snake, and flying 6 cells all in shock, I deeply understand that these guys will not easily change hands. After all, their current state is not good, and their physical exertion is huge. They may decide to launch a group attack in the next second. I give you time to consider. Are you going back and forth or keeping your promise? With a blink of an eye, Yui made a decision and finished speaking to Kaido lying on the ground. Turning calmly, he transformed into a dazzling golden dragon. Before leaving, he didn't forget to take a glance at the 3 disasters and others, and flew straight away. It's better to find a place to rest first, and come back after recovering. These guys are all tough people, not any kind of nitpicking. Shocked by the 3 disasters, Feilu and others woke up only when Yui transformed into a dragon and took off, and quickly ran over. Governor Kaido, Yu. Jean and Quinn, Jack, and others quickly gathered around. Fortunately, Kaido did not suffer any fatal damage, but his condition was not as good either. At this moment, Kaiduo's mouth was still overflowing with blood, and in the repeated bombardment, the internal injuries caused by the fragmentation of the real dragon heaven and earth continued to worsen. It wasn't until now that I slowly recovered. After all, this was an internal injury caused by the domineering aura, and it wasn't easy to recover. This is the first time I have felt a sense of powerlessness after being at the level of Captain Locks and Steelbone Kong. What exactly is this person from? Kaido's eyes kept changing, and his heart was filled with awe. It is obvious that Yui's strength in his opinion has surpassed his own level, but how could such a person stay on Ghost Island for so long? The 3 disasters and others couldn't help but feel a slight movement in their hearts as they saw Kaiduo's eyes changing. In fact, most of the beast pirates are believers in absolute strength. Even many people were originally captains of the pirate group, but they chose to join because of Kido's strength. After today's battle, it is obvious that some people have started to waver. It seems that is it possible for Yuisian to take over the 100 Beasts pirates? Governor Kaido. This bet. Even at this moment, Quinn and Jack, the 2 big signboards, had already been shaken in their hearts. Chapter 9. Did Kaido really surrender? You are listening at novel.Audio. Kaido did not speak in response, nor did he want to respond. At this moment, he became increasingly restless. For Kaido, who had always ruled the beast pirates with absolute strength, he knew that the cohesion was beginning to crumble. As Kaiduo had imagined, even the black charcoal snake had a different idea at this time, except for the beast pirates. Black charcoal snake, the people of the land of harmony, hesitated. Choosing stronger people to collaborate with may not necessarily be a good thing. Kaiduo didn't say much. If he lost, he would lose. It's not that he hasn't lost before, but now his family and business are big. In a strange atmosphere, the members of the Beast Pirates began to tidy up the collapsed Ghost Island. After a moment, Kaiduo also gained some physical strength, slowly stood up, walked over to get the wine jug, drank heavily, and expressionlessly transformed into a green dragon, leaping over the clouds and leaving. Big brother. What should we do? Jack has not recovered yet. Originally just a cheerful banquet, it turned out to be a complete change starting with a bang. Fix Ghost Island, make a bet. Let's see how Lord Kaido decides. Kaiduo left, and now Jean is the backbone of the Beast Pirates. Under the arrangement, everything is safe and sound. However, after the start of the animosity, the members of the Beast Pirate squad fell into an inexplicable atmosphere. If Yui had already left for time to consider before leaving, everyone had some expectations. What would happen to the gambling agreement between Lord Kaido and Golden Dragon? The incident gradually calmed down. The country of Harmony is closed off and the news is not well received, so the outside world is unaware of any major events that have occurred. But things are never absolute. For most people, the country of He is closed, but after all, it is the headquarters of the 4 emperors and 100 beasts, Kaido. As the world's most powerful CP espionage organization, there are spies lurking inside, and it is also the most secretive CP0. Others, even the big news writer Morgans, find it difficult to get news, but Wulaoxing was the first to know this news through CP0. A golden dragon. It's almost the same as Kaiduo model, and it won a single fight with Kaiduo. The bet is beasts and pirates. Being able to defeat all beasts indicates that this guy is a top-notch powerhouse, but on the sea, there is no other person with dragon form fruit ability besides Kaido. Out of thin air, I haven't even figured out my name yet. The 5 old stars were also greatly surprised. However, with so many people present on Ghost Island at that time, many people didn't know who Golden Dragon was or what its name was, only people like Quinn recognized it. The news of the Kingdom of Harmony was closed, and the 5 old stars also knew that the Navy headquarters might not receive any news, so they also informed the Warring States period of this news. The beast Kaido was defeated by a golden dragon in the Kingdom of Harmony. After hearing this news, Marshal of the Warring States period couldn't help but stand up with an unexpected look. What's wrong, Mr. Warring States? The green pheasant, red dog, and yellow ape all looked at the Warring States period standing up with some surprise. What news is so exciting? Can't it be a fight between Whitebeard and Red Hair? Kapu bit Shinbei and asked seriously. No, there's news coming from the 5 old stars. In the Kingdom of Harmony, the beast Kaiduo was defeated by one person. Taking a deep breath during the Warring States period, he spoke to the people in the office. Suddenly, the entire office was stunned, and after a while, everyone reacted. Kaido, who claims to be the strongest creature, has been defeated by someone. What exactly is going on? Kapu was somewhat surprised. Kaido's strength is not something that can be defeated by just one person. Of course, the specific situation depends on the information received from the Warring States period. He is a golden dragon form phantom beast fruit ability, the second dragon form powerhouse to appear on the sea. He forcefully defeated Kaiduo and collapsed to the ground exhausted. According to the news, there is also a bet between them, and the winner controls the Beast Pirate Squad. The Warring States period did not yet know about the mythological species of Yui, thinking it belonged to the mythological beast species. However, what he said completely surprised the 3 generals and Kapu and others. 1-on-1. Beating Kaido to the ground is not a joke. How many people can do it even in the Navy headquarters? 1. 2. This kind of strong person can be said to be rare, and they are capable individuals in the form of golden dragons, which I have never heard of before. This is an unfamiliar powerhouse. Red dogs, yellow apes, and others couldn't help but become solemn. At this moment, while feeling surprised, everyone was wondering who this guy was. And just a few days later, Yui, who had done these things, was meditating in a mountain in the country of He. After all, gaining power also requires self-consolidation. The system only provides unparalleled power to oneself, and how to use it depends on one's own efforts. You can clock in now, Master. Do you want to clock in now? Every day, the system will remind the remaining one to check in and check in. It's already 7 o'clock, let's clock in. Yui finished his meditation, stretched lazily, and gave the order. Second level location, successfully signed into the country of harmony. Congratulations to the owner for obtaining an increase in armed and domineering aura. After the 3 types of prompts, Yuyi's strength gained some growth again after the check.In ended. It has to be said that the check.In locations also vary. In Ghost Island, Yu receives a first-level check.In reward, while in the Kingdom of Harmony, except in Huadu, he is a second-level check.In reward. Of course, I need to meditate here now, and I don't care about where I check in anymore. Just as he was about to find some food, Yuyi's aura captured the commotion. A large group of people are approaching. This will have already restored his strength, and Yu is not afraid at all. He wants to see who brought the person and whether they came to find him. Then, after waiting for a while, Yu felt the familiar aura again. Kaiduo, 3 disasters, flying 6 cells. That's right, Kaido came with the cadres of the Beast Pirates and the Black Charcoal Snake. As long as in the Kingdom of Harmony, it is still easy for Kaido to find Yu. Yu is not strange, but he looks at the people walking with a smile. With so many people, are you looking for trouble? Well, it's very likely. Have you considered it well? Yu took the initiative to speak, but remained indifferent as he asked Kaido to approach with his people. Who would have thought that after Kaido approached, he just let out a sigh and knelt down on one knee. Yu, something unexpected happened. Chapter 10. Ultimate Reward Distribution. You are listening at novel.Audio. From now on, you will be the captain of the Beast Pirates. Kaiduo knelt down on one knee, without any unnecessary movements or words, directly indicating his intention to come. Behind him, Jean, Quinn, Jack, and Feilu all knelt down on one knee to accept Kaido's movements. Respect the strong. This is not uncommon in the Beast Pirates. All the people in the room, except for the short stature of Black Charcoal Snake, did not move. It was obvious that he did not come voluntarily, but he also bowed his body. To be honest, Yu was a bit stunned. What kind of person is Baisho Kaiduo? One of the 4 emperors of the New World, known as the strongest creature in the world, surprisingly gave way so easily. Unconsciously, Yu, who was well aware of Kaiduo's unpredictable personality, glanced suspiciously at Kaiduo, who was kneeling on one knee. I thought it would take some effort, but I didn't expect you to keep your promise. It's really unexpected. Yu spoke without any courtesy, nor did he say let them get up. But Kaido still stood up on his own. Kneeling on one knee was the limit of his ability, just to show his attitude. I just thought it was praise, but this is the power I have established. I will become stronger and regain it. Kaido's expression was very plain as he said. This made Yu nod to himself, and Kaiduo's reaction was unexpected, but it was not impossible either. I will wait at any time. You keep your promise and it is acceptable to take it again in the future. It's not a big deal, Yu doesn't care. With his own system, the speed of growth is not something that Kaiduo can compare. You all understand, obey the new governor's orders until you defeat him and return. Kaiduo looked back and saw the words left by the 3 disasters and others. His prestige in the Beast Pirates is self-evident. Even if someone harbors rebellion, they dare not resist Kaido, so everyone responded loudly. After completing these tasks, Kaido took a deep look at Yu and, under the gaze of everyone, transformed into a green dragon soaring away. At this time, it can be said that Kaido's psychological activities are extremely exciting. It's not a big deal to give way to Yu. At this point, the power has reached a bottleneck, and perhaps we can go further in Yu's hands. Moreover, Kaiduo is well aware that although his strength may be top-notch in the face of the remnants of the old era, it is still insufficient. He feels like he needs time. So I endured the pain and made this decision. But after all, it was a group of beasts and pirates that they had been running for many years, and they flew away with some annoyance in their hearts. Yui looked up and watched as Kaiduo left, without realizing that Kaiduo could really submit to his command. It was normal for him to leave. Looking back, I saw the group of beasts and pirates half kneeling on the ground. Let's all get up. Since Kaido keeps his promise, I'll be your new boss from now on. Yui stood up, although his height of 1.9 meters was still very small among these beasts, his demeanor was as captivating as that of a king. Quinn, Feilu, and other members of the team watched Yui and were moved by this momentum. The five-clawed golden dragon was originally a symbol of the king, and Yui's aura as a king naturally exploded with the development of his abilities. But the black charcoal snake seems to dislike Yui's domineering behavior. He was brought by Kaido and has a cooperative relationship with the beast pirates. However, under Yui's gaze, the black charcoal snake recalled the scene when the golden dragon took off and couldn't help but shudder, choosing to submit. At this point, it is only natural for Yui to become the true controller of Heiji Kingdom. The only one who didn't choose to join Yui's army was Jin, but at this moment, Yui didn't care at all. The people with the Beast Pirates group went straight to the Flower City to stay temporarily, after all Ghost Island is still being rebuilt. I just returned to the general's castle of the Black Charcoal Snake and sat down. At this point, the remaining one was completely surprised by the sudden prompt from the system. Congratulations to the master for becoming the leader of the Beast Pirates. Now we will distribute a special reward in the system. Obtain a 1.Yu check.In result at the first level check.In location. The results of 1 year's attendance are not as simple as 10% or 20% improvement for Yui now. Feeling the power surging out of the body, at least more than 50%. System, how could there be such a good thing? Yes, master, as you gain a place in this world, the system will randomly distribute special rewards. I really don't know about this. What have you been doing for years? Struggling to develop. It's not too late to know now. Becoming the king of beasts is just the first stop. Yui's passion surged in his heart, and he was extremely excited, especially when he noticed that the golden dragon fruit's ability had broken through to the stage of mystery. The profound meaning is even higher than the awakening of fruit ability. The strength it brings is enough for Yui to defeat the entire team of beast pirates. Including Kaido. What is your position in this world? If you establish the name of the 4 emperors in the world, or become the One Piece King. Know the king of the world. How generous the rewards would be. Unconsciously, Yui's eyes lit up with excitement as he thought of this. If the owner becomes the king of the world, the system will issue an immeasurable ultimate reward. The ultimate reward. Just look at the name and it's very attractive, okay? Yui laughed heartily. At this moment, except for Jean, Quinn, Jack, as well as Flying Six, Black Charcoal Snake, and even Yamato were present, and Yui looked a bit strange as he was excited. It's reasonable to get a little excited after knocking down Father Kaido and sitting in the leader's position. Yamato touched his chin and nodded as he watched Yui's excited expression. Obviously, others also believe the same. There's no need to rush to rebuild Ghost Island. I think the Flower City will be great. There was a strange look in the eyes of everyone, which made Yui, who was immersed in the sea recognition system, feel it. He quickly stepped back and spoke up. This Black Charcoal Snake was a bit afraid of Yui, but he didn't want them to stay here too long. The capital of flowers, it's his. What? Do you have any objections? Looking out the window at the beautiful cherry blossom scenery, I said without looking back. A domineering aura leaking from the side. No. No. The Black Charcoal Snake suddenly felt Alexander and shrunk his neck, afraid to say more. Even Yamato's eyes were attracted by Yui's temperament, revealing a brilliant aura. Such a man, so domineering. It truly deserves to be the Golden Dragon. Quinn, Jack, and others have a strong sense of admiration in their hearts. It is undeniable that compared to Kaiduo's green dragon power, Kaiduo is more like a hero, and Yu really has a royal aura on him. Especially after Kaiduo gave up, Yu Yixi's aura of kingship became stronger and stronger after returning.